It's Grace Redman. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Real Talk, where I get to have real life, raw conversations with incredible people from my circles and communities who overcome challenges and create amazing. Today, my incredible guest is EJ Jamele. EJ is the founder and CEO of Crowd Management, an elite brand, talent management, and full service production firm representing a powerhouse roster of multifaceted artists in the multi-billion-dollar beauty, entertainment, and lifestyle industries. With over 15 years of experience, EJ leads his team in producing bold, boundary pushing content from viral social campaigns to major ad spots, TV productions, and film projects. Crowd Management's client list reads like a red carpet. Vogue, Vanity Fair, Versace, ABC, VH1, The Kardashians, and Jennifer Hudson, among others. His work has garnered billions of impressions and been featured across Good Morning America, MTV, Billboard, and more. Television audiences may recognize EJ from VH1's Lala Anthony's Full Court Life and The Real Housewives of New Jersey, where his creative influence shined. At the heart of everything he does, EJ really believes in elevating one another, creating a culture of collaboration, inclusivity, and longevity for the talent and brands he leads. Because for EJ, true impact comes from rising together. Please help me welcome EJ Jamele to the show today. Hey, EJ.
Hey, Grace. Thank you so much for that intro. I'm like blushing over here.
No, I that's what I love about you, just your heart. Like when we connected, I'm like, oh my God, he's so humble. He has like this heart, and he really is about elevating others. And just that's what stood out for me about you. So thank you so much for being
Oh,
such a bright light.
thank you. I appreciate that. And you as well. Your job is literally getting people jobs and
That's one
inspiring
of my
people and
jobs.
coaching people.
Yes.
So you're doing the work. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we all do the work in so many ways. And when we talk about the work, what does the work mean to you?
Well, I wear many hats. So I'll start with my talent management hat, which is what we're predominantly known for historically, anyway. And for me, that is the purpose and the why behind it is just that I fell into this by accident. As a nightlife producer, I started noticing real serious disparities between what certain people were being paid and what others were being paid for the same job for the same amount of time, and how they were being treated leading up to and into those bookings. And so I started whispering in the ears of certain artists, just saying things like, hey, you could ask for this or you could ask for that, or this is the normal or standard rate for this job. And little by little, people started calling me and asking me to help them with other jobs. And that's really where crowd management came from. So I've recognized that my purpose was to stand up for people in a
I love
way that
that.
they could show up and be as great as they can be without having to worry about the setup and the
Mm.
post production of that job.
So you really take the stress off of them so they can really focus on their creativity.
Absolutely. I mean, we need to focus to
Yep.
do our best, right? So
Yes.
I think that that's like a huge part of my job as both a manager and a producer is to create the best environment for someone to use their talent and to do the best that they can do in those moments.
And how did you know how to ask or what to ask for? Did you start in reading contracts, in reviewing contracts? Like how did
Yeah.
that happen?
Good question. It again, I wish it was like this mastermind thing that I had planned for myself. I always knew I wanted to work in entertainment. And because of my lack of exposure to the business aspects as a child, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that I wanted to produce content or be a talent manager. I just knew I wanted to support creatives and work with creatives. And so I really started as a promoter in nightlife because I didn't know anyone in New York when I moved there. So that was how I started to meet people and build a network. And as I was doing that, I started to help folks, my bosses, create the events. And then I helped them start
Yes.
booking talent to appear at our events. And then I started producing events. And then that's when I really noticed after, the curtain was removed for me to see what talent A versus talent B was being paid. And a lot of those
Mm,
disparities really came along with intersectional identities such as gender,
mhm.
LGBTQ plus, race, etc. So that
Right.
just charged me up even more because it pissed me off. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
And like you said, you fell in it. However, as a young, person, you knew that you wanted to be in the talent industry. You just didn't know how you didn't know the how.
Exactly. And I didn't
So the
come
universe
into New
responded.
York. The universe definitely responded. I didn't come into New York with all the internships and the city access that a lot of my counterparts did. So that's I made up for that with my networking.
And when you say you came to New York, where did you come from?
So I
Where
grew up in Connecticut,
Okay.
and then I went to college in Rhode Island, to University of Rhode
Nice.
Island, and then I went to RISD, and then I moved to New York. And I
I
came
love
to New
New York.
York. Oh my God, I love New York. I still have a home in New York. I'm there all the time because of what I do. And there's no place like it, but it will train you real quick how to do anything. And that's why they say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
I believe that. And there's just an energy about New York as well. Like there's always an exciting energy. There's always an exciting buzz.
Agreed. There's a lot going on. There's
Yeah.
so much to do in New York. It has changed a lot, I have to say. Like when I first fell in love with New York, it truly was the city that never sleeps. I challenge that now post pandemic because there really are times where you're like, oh man, the night's over and that's really it. But the good old days, you could truly have something and somewhere to be, no matter what time of day or night it was. But the good thing about New York is that there's nothing but opportunity.
Mm,
The bad thing is everybody's there for the same reason, trying to figure out what those
trying to make it.
opportunities are. So there's lots of competition,
Mm.
if you see it that way.
If you
And
see it that way,
yeah, for us, like I love collaborating with artists, and I have an artistic side to me, a large artistic side to me. So for me, whenever I get to create something new with a whole team of people, it's exciting for me. Like I love being on set. I love being with my clients on the road at their, appearances or just anything that has to do with that energy that New York comes with, right? There's just so much going on. There's so much
it's
opportunity.
sexy.
It's sexy. There's lights, camera, action. There's a
Yeah.
little pressure. Things like that. I think make this job exciting and rewarding because there's a lot of things that go into this job
Mm,
that are more about off camera, behind the scenes,
right. It's not all
late
glamorous.
nights that just have nothing to do with the cool parts of the job. So when we get to be in that energy and see our clients have the payoff from our work, I think that's why I love it so much.
Mm, that's exciting. Like you're saying, there's a lot of behind the scenes. It's not all glamorous. It's not all fun and roses. And so, how do you manage that pressure in an industry that is so competitive?
God.
Yes.
Prayer. Um,
Oh,
I'm not the most patient person in the world, and I don't like no. So I think that's part of what also makes me successful and my team successful
mm,
because um we don't sit around and wait for things to happen.
you can't.
So I think that's something that has always fueled us to be passionate about who we work with and what degree we will work for them and with them. But I guess, what really centers me though every single day is definitely prayer and God. There's a
Me
lot
too.
of things that I just don't know how we're going to figure it out, but then it happens.
Yes.
And, that's not me.
Yes. And I love that because same with me. It's some days I just don't know how I'm going to accomplish what I need to accomplish or how we're going to get through what we're going to get through. And God always comes through. As an entrepreneur, yourself, like it's not an easy journey. You have
No, I
so
mean,
many moving pieces.
I was reading your, bio before our, pre-call we had the other day, and I love how you pointed out that you've run a business employing folks for 20 plus years through 2 recessions. I was like, that hit me in my heart.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh my god,"
Actually, it's been 5 economic crises, if you could believe
we
that.
need you need an award for that, that alone, just the
EJ, this is
fact
not
that
about me, this is about you today, my
but
friend.
but listen, we are relating to each other as entrepreneurs. I
Yes.
felt that so much because
Oh, man.
it's so funny when you see, not funny in the moment, but funny to look back at the moments that you are like, "Oh my god, I thought I was gonna, do all these big things this year, and now this year is all about survival." And I'm
Yes.
fully focused on figuring out how to just stay open and support
Yes.
whatever clients I can.
And like you said, God plays a big role, and also service. When we focus on, okay, how can we give back, because we're not the only ones going through, a crisis right now, taking the focus off of ourselves and, saying how can we help in the community. That's also been helpful in making it through those challenging times.
Definitely. I
So,
agree.
what keeps you motivated to move forward as an entrepreneur? Because again, like you said, it's hard. There are some days like you just don't know how you're going to keep the door open. How do you move forward
I
in those
mean,
hard times?
I think I'm just addicted to seeing a vision come to life.
Mm,
You know? And what I mean by that is we're in meetings for sometimes years, literally actual years creating a project.
mm,
And the execution could be as fast and dirty as just a few days or a week. And to create so much time, thought, energy, perspective, collaboration, money in
mhm.
preparing for something to create all of those perfect storm variables that we contribute, not just us but the people we work for, and see it come to life. I am obsessed with that process. I
I
think
get
that's
it.
why I became a producer. It was out of necessity. We had clients
Mm,
that people didn't want to pay for their music videos or their campaign ads or their magazine covers. And so we figured out really early on, we'll deliver them to you. You just package them and use them. Use the magazine cover, and now that's just common knowledge, but we were doing
mm.
that before anyone said it's okay to.
So
And
you're an innovator.
I think so. I think me and a
Absolutely.
lot of my peers are too, but we didn't have at that time social media tutorials, people like me and you sharing so many things we learned the hard way on
Yes.
social media. I try to do that as much as I can. I feel like that's part of giving back because there's people
Yes.
that reach out and ask, "Hey, can I have an internship?" And I'm like, no, but you can have some free knowledge. Like, what are you
Yes.
struggling with? What are you looking to do? Why do you want an internship? Maybe I can introduce you to a few people as well as spend some time with you and help you understand what the next steps would look like. And I think that's what I can do with social media. I think that's what I can do with interviews like this
Yes.
is just kind of share things by accident sometimes that you don't know
Mhm.
are valuable in that
Right?
space. Right? Because it's like that was like 20 years ago for me.
Exactly.
And that really helps someone make a decision or make a better decision. So I think that that is, all part of it.
I appreciate you for that, because I was connecting with a colleague this morning, and she said, "You never know what could hit, like what you're sharing could really feel irrelevant to you, but for someone else, it's such a, beautiful nugget of wisdom, and it helps them." And
Absolutely.
so I love that you just shared that, because it's in alignment with the theme of the day, and sharing and giving back something that I might take a knowledge piece of knowledge I might take for granted, someone else may need to hear it.
I agree. I saw a post that said, not all content needs to go viral to be valuable.
Oh, 100,000%.
I was like, "Oh, thank God we're saying that because I certainly am not along the lines of my clients who are out in front and center all the
No,
time." And
no,
sometimes
you
you
know
have
what?
imposter syndrome because 'cause you're like, "Why am I sharing this?" And then I remember I'm sharing this
Yes.
because someone like me might be out there looking for that little bit of guidance, and they might end up getting to their success story faster because someone shared it without hesitation and without strings attached.
Yes, and I wanna really, focus on this because I also work with so many people that feel like, well, I don't have the likes, I don't have the followers, and what if no one looks at what I'm posting? And I said, it doesn't matter. What matters is if one person sees it, hears it, takes it. That's what it's about. It's not about the followers or the likes. It's about number one, showing up from the heart, and number two, even if one person, hears it and it helps them, that's what matters. And honestly, you really don't know who's listening and who's watching. Most
You
of the time,
don't.
I'm sure this happens to you. I'll be out and about, and someone will say, "Oh my god, I really love that post." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that you're aware I was there."
Or I didn't see your like or comment, but I'm so glad that you saw me or heard me say that. So I
Show up,
agree.
right?
Yeah,
So
we're
just
showing
tell our
up.
audience, show up.
Absolutely.
I
And
love that.
I always say too to my clients that are like, especially development folks that I'm consulting for, I'm like, just be proud of the fact that when someone Googles you in 5 years from now, that they will see that your dedication showed up in the quality of what you were doing.
Mm,
Because at some point, you're going to have a breakthrough. And then all of a sudden, everything you already did becomes interesting or it becomes
mm,
valuable. And if you put your, you know, effort there, it will show up and it will validate the moment that you do have that and blow up moment or viral moment or
mm.
aha moment.
So good, because you just said breakthrough. And so many, I've heard so many people say, overnight success. However, is there really an overnight success? Or most people just like really putting the work in and then the breakthrough comes. So you don't really see all the back end work. You just see now.
Right. Because we just started paying attention, but they've been there all along. They have a
Right.
history. They have, you know, failures and successes and mediocre moments, probably,
We
just
all,
like the rest of us.
right. So what type of advice when people come to you? I know you mentioned they come to you for internships. What type of advice are they also coming to you for?
Advice you said?
Hmm.
Um, well, it's different angles because I wear these different hats. So let's focus on like artist side because a lot of artists have the misconception, even with all the information out there that says otherwise, that they need a manager or an agent in order to get opportunities. And we're in a world where, yes, we can bring you opportunities, but you have to have, as I always say, like commercial viability.
Mm,
And in order to earn that, there's a lot of, you know, hitting the streets, putting the work in, doing the things that are not sexy to earn, your place in whatever industry you're trying to move forward in. So, something I advise a lot for is like celebrity hair, makeup, photographers, stylists, producers, and we manage a lot of those folks. And so someone might see one of our clients and say, "Oh, I want you to manage me because I want to also work for this celebrity or that celebrity." And, educating them that that's not exactly how it works, but there are entry points and there are things that you could be setting up for your future success in order to be that person that is called to do said celebrity.
mm,
And someone that already has a client, that's usually not your client. Your client is someone that you might not even, and they might not even be knowing that they are your client yet. So
interesting.
earning that interest and making sure that your materials are really good and your professionalism is there. You are polished in how you run your business is all really important. And for a lot of artists, they don't have experience doing that because they're really focused on the art, which is great.
Yeah.
But when you want to compete at a level where people expect you to have it all together, I think it's really important to invest in the things that make you uncomfortable and
Mhm.
try things and pay attention to things that you might not be good at so that you have some knowledge, so that you have some polish to you when you arrive at those opportunities. So those are the kinds of people that reach out to me the most. But, because I have the, um, the opportunity to be on set a lot with a variety of people from executives all the way down to production assistants,
Mhm.
anyone in there, in that whole, ecosystem of collaborators for the day could be asking me for another job or, "Hey, do you have any other productions that are coming up?" Or, "Hey, could you manage me? I noticed the way that you do certain things and I feel like that's lacking in my career." Or do you know someone that could do XYZ for me? So I feel like I'm always being asked to produce, meaning produce results. That's what producers do.
And how do you
So,
set your boundaries? Because you have people coming at you at all, from all angles, and you want to be of service and you want to be present, but also, sometimes we get stretched really thin. How do you set the boundaries, to be able to take care of yourself and to be present and serve, people coming for advice?
yeah, good question. I need to take a breather for that one.
I know, I get it.
I re- I really rely on my support system.
Mhm.
My team is amazing. They're like really, really, really good at what they do. And so, part of what they do is advise me to pull back
Mhm.
or pay attention to the moments where I am taking on too much. Cause I have that same people pleaser in me that wants to just like, help everyone, say yes to everything. Um, but what I've been utilizing lately is not saying necessarily no. I do say no to certain things, of course,
We have
but,
to.
pacing people and managing their expectations.
Oh, really
And what I
good.
mean by that is like, "Look, I can't help you today, and I might not even be able to help you next week, but we can book something on this day, and you will have to work through my office to secure it because not because you're not important, but because you are important.
Oh,
And
yes.
if we don't secure that time, and if we don't manage it in a way where it's realistic and I can be at attention for you, then why are we even going to try
Mm,
to work on said thing or have a meeting
I love
that
that.
doesn't actually work for either one of us?" So I'm really getting better as I get older at managing expectations from the start because I know or foresee that I don't want to cause a problem in our scheduling or in our workload for my office or team. So it's
Mhm.
also about respecting everyone around me
Yeah,
that is contributing to what we're accomplishing
for
in
sure.
order to, just protect all of us,
Mhm.
right? We have a really demanding, job as it is. This career
A lot of
is
pressure.
of all hours. It's a lot of pressure to be right all the time, and we're still human,
For
we make
sure.
mistakes too. So I'm trying to get better at pacing people. That's my hard answer,
I love
pacing
that.
everyone around me.
I love
Yeah,
that, setting the expectation, and like you said, not saying no, however, like, "Go through my office and let's do this intentionally." I love that.
absolutely.
How do you think your background, your upbringing has influenced how you lead today?
Mm, how do I say this in a short way?
We got time.
Well, okay, I'll give you some quick check marks. I grew up in a divorced family with a lot of parents and a lot of siblings. There's 5 behind me. I'm the oldest.
I'm the
I've
oldest of
always had
5
a
too.
You are? Well, so I'm 6, 5 below
Oh,
me.
got it.
And some of them are stepbrother and stepsister, but we all consider each other, blood.
Beautiful.
They're I was 6 years old when my parents divorced. Our family immediately grew. So I think that that's one of the things that trained me to be hyper responsible
Mhm.
because that just came with the territory of our family dynamic. And you know, that contributed, I think, the most to me wanting to be this organized person, pay attention to a lot of different things from school to family to friendships, prioritize them all, balance them all, juggle the time constraints that come with those things, having a full-time job, young. And I was always over committed in my time, but somehow made it work. And I think that those early mistakes and successes helped train me to understand how to use my calendar and my time
Mhm.
to the best of my efficiency because that is one of the most necessary skills to do what I do.
Yes, yes. Oh, EJ, we have so much in common. I can totally relate to everything you just said.
I love that. When are we hanging out?
Oh, I'm coming to New York. I'm coming to New
All
York.
right, perfect. You call me. I'll take you out.
I can't wait. So, what would be your dream project or your dream assignment? Because you've done so many incredible things, and you're working with top talent. What would be the dream assignment?
Ah, the dream assignment. Well, like I said earlier, part of what we do is plan for a really long time before something happens. And sometimes that means we are planning or dreaming or mood boarding or
Mm,
manifesting or praying
yes.
for something that no one has even hired us to do yet, but yet we're working on it already.
Oof.
And that in our world is called development, right? We develop a TV show before the network even knows about it. Then they let us know if they like it and want more information. In fact, we recently just sold 2 shows, and
Nice.
those are the kinds of projects that I want more of, and so it's weird because it's like, "Hire me," but also, "Wait till I'm ready to tell you what I want you to hire me for." So right now, if I had to answer that question today, which this could change in a year from now,
It's okay.
but right now, today, I would love for us to create from scratch a campaign for beauty product uh, distributors. Someone like
Nice.
Sephora, Ulta,
Mhm.
um, for Walmart or Target. We've actually worked with Target before, but not in this aspect. And we've created really amazing ad spots, even Super Bowl commercials.
Nice.
And something I really want to do more of is creating commercials that inspire people.
Mm,
And there's so many ad spots out there that have done that for us, and I just am so motivated to be in that company of people.
yes.
And so
You're
that is my
perfect
dream
for
job.
that.
I wanna create a project with, a lot of my clients that we're already working on. We don't know who's gonna hire us, so somebody hear this out there and
Yes.
call us because we have a fantastic, campaign concept that we have written, created music, original score for already as well,
Mm,
and written an entire treatment for. So that's my dream project right now is to be able to create a campaign for Sephora or Ulta or someone who is passionate about bringing the beauty community together while promoting what they're trying to sell.
I love that. Well, you just put the rockets of desire out into the universe. So I cannot wait to be there when this manifests.
Perfect, because that's the first time I said that out loud. So,
Oh, well, I'm honored.
well, publicly anyway, outside of a meeting. So that means we'll have to call you and give you updates.
Yes, you definitely have to give me updates. I love it. And it's so fun. Again, it's also I know that it's a very stressful, industry. There's a lot of pressure, but also the creativity, the imagination makes it also very exciting because really the world is your oyster.
Absolutely. That's why I love when a brand or a client comes to you before they've refined their idea, before they hire you even sometimes, and they're like, "What do you think of this?" Or like, "How could we do this?" I think that's really important to curate a group of folks that could bring different perspectives to something so that it can be the best possible version of the original idea or thought. So that again, for me, is like what motivates me the most about my job is I get to do that every day with my clients.
The collaboration and the connection, community.
Absolutely.
So when you're working, you're working with so many artists and, like we said earlier, we're all human. Are there times where, some of the artists might have some self-doubt and you can see their incredible potential, but they're, a little bit stuck? How do you help them unlock that power that's within them to step into the potential that you can see, but they can't really see it?
Great question. A big part of my job is knowing my clients well.
Mm.
and that takes time and intention and listening. Sometimes the things that we originally saw for them change over time or quickly based on what's going on in their life. And some of the things that you just said, like we're all people. So we have things that happen in our lives that are in our control, and then we have things that happen that are outside of our control. And that can really change someone's motivation or perspective or desire to even work sometimes.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's definitely folks that I work with or have worked with in the past that have moments of struggle, and we have to be compassionate about that. So I think that making sure that we don't see any of our clients only as a paycheck
Mm.
is part of that. And that's not something we struggle with, but it's something that you have to be conscious of in the way you talk, because sometimes clients will feel like you're pressuring them when actually you're just sharing information.
Mhm.
So we try to be intentional about making sure our clients feel like they have a personal relationship with us and they feel comfortable saying no.
Saying no to you if they need to.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
what I'm hearing you say is like creating, a safe space for them to know that they're valued and we hear you and we're here to help you push
Absolutely.
you
I mean, the
forward.
reason we're working together is they're already talented. We're not trying to make them talented. What we're trying to do is support those talents in a way that helps us all make money together,
Mhm.
but also is conscious of the fact that you are a person at the end of the day. You're not a machine. So there are going to be days that we planned on doing one thing, but we end up having to pivot because of a variety of reasons. And a lot of them can be emotional.
Mhm.
People have losses in their family, and we
Yep.
have to miss out on opportunity to make money. But I think the law of averages has always just had our back. Like we don't push any of our clients to do something they don't want to do. We help develop it to a place where they're happy with it and excited about it, and it feels fair. They're exchanged for their talent, time, and any of their contributions for whatever the money is, whether it's a lot or a little.
Well, that's when, what we talked about the other day is like your passion is to cultivate the relationships and build the connection. And that always comes back to community. And you talk about longevity. Well, that's how you create the longevity. Exactly what you said is you care about them as a human. And of course, like we all have to think about the bottom line.
Oh
However,
yeah,
also
absolutely.
I feel like the bottom line becomes more robust when we care about people.
The bottom line is that a rising tide lifts all ships.
That's
Our
it.
one of our employees and who is our chief of strategy here says that to us all the time in meetings, and it's so true. We all believe it, but the way he expresses it, it's so true.
Yes.
If we are collectively okay, one or two of us can be off balance, or a few
Yes.
people on the team can be off balance because the rest of us are pushing you up. So that's what I mean by collaboration, is that we're in a relationship with people that no one has to be perfect 100% of the time, and it's okay.
Yes, that's human. That's
Absolutely.
human. I grew up in a generation where you could not be human. Like you had to show up perfectly at all times. You couldn't show that you were tired, even if you had a loss, you couldn't show it. And what I'm learning now, is or being in the communities and masterminds and doing business now, everyone's so much more compassionate.
Yeah,
And sometimes I'm like, wow, you really are compassionate and you understand, and that helps us all be much more productive, and it helps everyone. We're
absolutely.
not
I wish
robots.
all I wish all leadership led that way, but it is nice to see that the um it's not as rare anymore.
Yes. So we'll keep holding that vision and pushing that because I came up at a time where we were conditioned to compartmental our personal and professional lives, which I feel disconnected us and fragmented us, which made us less productive, less creative. And what I'm hearing you saying is like you're creating this environment of collaboration where when you're doing that, you're becoming more creative, more productive, and you're attracting better opportunities and possibilities.
Absolutely. Yeah. I thank you for saying that.
I love that. So again, you're wearing so many different hats. There's only so many hours in the day. How do you start your day to make sure that you kind of get through it and are at the top of your game?
Yeah, the very first thing I do when I open my eyes is pray to say thank you for another day. And the second thing that I do is I make coffee.
Mm,
And I used to hurry up and get ready and, like, run out the door, and, my mom inspired me actually because she is someone who takes, in the beginning of her day, a lot of quiet time, and then she's super overcommitted, and I'm like, "Okay, that's kinda like how I am." Like, I'm very busy all day long, so I have to create some time for myself in the beginning of the day because the rest of the day, a lot of it is not in my control. Yes, I have a schedule. Yes, we have meetings and start and finish times, but there are so many human elements that come into a job like this or any job, but a job like this where yes, we have office hours. I'll say that in quotes. I'm air quoting that for a reason. And that's because we work across many time zones. There are always days where no matter how much we work to be prepared and on top of our schedule, that we will have to work late or take late calls or very, very early calls. So I try to be intentional very early in the morning when people are going to give you the most grace
mm,
for being unavailable. And for
yes,
me, that's right when I wake up. So I
ditto.
take the time to make the coffee, clean the house a little bit, listen to a little music, play with my dogs. And then I go to the gym, start reading emails, taking calls, going into my back to back meetings. And I hope to be in bed before midnight.
That's like you just basically mirrored my mornings, my day. The morning is sacred, sacred.
Absolutely.
So I
It
love
really is.
and
Yeah.
then like you said, it
Thank
sets
you.
intention for the rest of the day. What has been one of your greatest challenges that you've been able to overcome? And then when you look back at it, it was really a blessing in disguise.
For me, I was experiencing when I was first starting, I experienced a lot of success really quickly because it was a time where DJs started becoming A-list celebrities.
Mhm,
And I was already in the space with a lot of relationships in nightlife. A lot of venues, worked with us and knew who we were. So we were able to create not only opportunities for the DJs we worked with, but also opportunities for brands that wanted to activate and create these IRL or in real life experiences to promote themselves. Um, and in 2013, only about 3 years in, we had accomplished a lot by then. Billboards, television shows,
nice.
music videos, producing, managing. I signed 2 record label deals, created an imprint by then, won, a couple of awards for the productions that we did, and, as I mentioned earlier, I'm just really close to my family, and my grandmothers always lived with us or very close by. They were like built-in babysitters. We never really had anyone besides family around us in that way. And my grandmother had a stroke and passed very quickly. Actually, I was with her when she had the stroke. I surprised her that day
Mhm,
for breakfast, and it made me want to move home. And so I did. And I decided I would work remotely and come to the city as often as I needed to or fly to LA whenever I needed to. And 2013, we were not in a place where people were as compassionate about work-life balance as they are now. And so a lot of people told me that that would be the end of my
mm,
company. And I believed them. So
mm,
for a little bit of time, it took me some time to heal from the loss, but also just to try and be more confident about my decision. And fast forward to today, um, my office is built out of my house, my main office. We have a studio in Atlanta. We have a place in New York. We have a team in LA and a team in Dallas.
beautiful.
And we are all remote. We all have time for our families when we need it. And I would never have anticipated that. I truly believed that I would have to figure out a new career or job in order to survive. And I was wrong, and I'm glad I was.
I love it. Another, example of how great God is.
Absolutely. I did not know the way then, but little by little, it revealed itself,
Yeah,
and people did continue to call.
beautiful.
And ultimately, we were set up in a way when the pandemic did happen, we were able to help a lot of people who no longer had representation. The offices for these bigger agencies and big management companies were closing or laying people off. And so people were calling me saying, "Hey, listen, can you do me a favor and help me with this? I have this virtual opportunity and I don't have anyone to deal with it." So not only were we able to support our clients, but we were able to support other people's clients. Some of them interim style, and
Hmm.
some of them are still with us today. So
Beautiful.
we were trained and ready for that.
I love it.
Um, and so I am grateful for it, but it was really, really, really hard to get through that.
And you did. And again, looking back and when you connect the dots, you see how everything happens and unfolds the way it's meant to. But it's not easy when you're going through the storm, that's for sure.
Definitely not. And we all have them.
Yeah.
It's thank you for asking about that because a lot of people don't. And I love asking people about that because you
Yeah.
can learn about their why in that story. And I'm really motivated to apply that to how I advise people to build their brand, map their brand, run their business, and for what projects that they should develop that will have the most value for
Mhm.
where they want to go.
Being prepared. I can be here with you for another hour. I want to be like respectful of your time because we could just pop off to another subject, which is mindset, but we'll have to bring you back another time. I just want to tell you
Okay.
thank you so much for joining me, EJ. I really, love our synergy. You've been amazing. Thank you so much. And for those who are watching, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at EJ underscore Jamele, Jamele. And they can find me at crowdmanagement.com, which is crowdMGMT.com. And I'm on LinkedIn.
Yes.
So
And we will
hit me up.
share all of your information with our audience. I would love to have you back because I love your wisdom. I love your
Oh,
heart and I
thank
really
you.
appreciate you. So thank you so much,
Thank
EJ.
you so much, Grace. Thank you for contributing to the world the way you do
Oh my God.
and for the book you gave us. Congrats on that being a bestseller. That is
Thank you.
so huge.
Thank you so
And oh, by the way, I love that you love Biggie.
much. Oh, it was all a dream. I used to read
Yeah,
Vogue
it was.
magazine.
I saw that in your bio. I was like, the fact that this made the cut makes me know I'm gonna love this discussion.
Yes. And that's why I'm like, I know you have another appointment because I can stay here with you for another hour. I appreciate you. And for those of you watching and listening, please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you amazing guests like EJ Jamele. I appreciate you all and wish you all an incredible day ahead.
Thank you, Grace.
Hey, love, thank you so much for listening today. I am so grateful for you. I'd like to show you my appreciation by gifting you a free forgiveness self-hypnosis audio download. Part of living the fun and fabulous life is practicing forgiveness. Forgiveness can be such a long and challenging process. My intention is that this forgiveness audio will help you in practicing forgiveness, especially with yourself. Grab it by visiting daretoachieve.com/forgiveness. For more inspiring tips, make sure to connect with me on social media. Drop me a line on Facebook or Instagram at Grace Redman Dare to Achieve. Until next time, keep moving forward towards living your fabulous life.